यस्त्यक्त्वा रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतो अनेकदानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिर्विषमविषधरो अनेकवक्त्रसुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकर प्रीतये यस्य नित्यं देवो हि शः सोऽभव्यात् सितविमलतनुर्योगदो योगयुक्तः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Gently bow your head down. Bring yourself to the class. Prepare yourself for the session. Whenever you are ready, gently lift your head up. Open your eyes. Still. Namaste. Which sutra did we study in the last class? Do you recall? Sutra
2.5.
Yes. And what did 2.5 talk about?
अनित्य में ही नित्य है.
Shuchi में Shuchi. Yes. So we are trying to understand who is this leader of all the other kleshas. Who was the leader of the kleshas? The leader of the gang?
Avidya.
Avidya. And the further sutras are going to discuss then all of these kleshas one by one. But first we tried to understand Avidya, and we also saw that Avidya is discussed till Vedanta. So when we are listening to Avidya, it is very important for us to know its nature clearly. What is this Avidya? We tried to have different, almost 6 types of different understandings, like Ashuchi mein Shuchi, in a body that is very unclean. We often find it so dear to us. Anitya mein Nitya. Yes, Anitya is one that is not permanent. In that we try to find permanence. Dukh mein Sukh. Dukh mein Sukh. In pain, we say, oh, but it's going to make me happy too. Then Anatma mein Atma. Anatma mein Atma. Mane kya? Means what? This is mine. This car is mine. You suddenly attach the consciousness, love, care as though it's a physical person, whatever that you own. So we see Anatma mein Atma. Seeing all these examples, we realize that Avidya is not simply or merely the absence of Vidya. It is the opposite of Vidya. Avidya, write this specifically, it's a very important line. Avidya is not the absence of Vidya, but opposite of Vidya. What is Vidya? The knowledge of the self. Viveka Khyati. Through Viveka Khyati. So, misidentification is Avidya. And they are opposite. So, sometimes seeker asks, what if there is Avidya? Then I am liberated. Is there an opportunity for me to again be engulfed by Avidya or Maya? As you go in Vedanta, the technical terms will change for it. Here we take the Drishtanta or example of a scorpion. What does a scorpion do? It eats up the mother as it is born. The scorpion, whenever we see the scorpion, what happens? It eats up the creation, the mother as it is born. So when specifically, why am I giving you this very clear, straight, strong understanding of Avidya? Because just like the scorpion, when it is born, when there is Vidya, what happens? Complete destruction of Avidya. One which is dead can again not come to life. So whenever we want to give the example of Vidya and Avidya and a possibility that will it come back, we always give the drishtanta of the nature. In nature, we see the birth of the scorpion. So therefore, some commentators say yoga is nothing but practical Vedanta. It shouldn't have been with Sankhya, but it should have actually been with Vedanta. And that's the reason I have started teaching yoga philosophy first. That whether you are able to study Vedanta or not in future, that I do not know. But at least through yoga, some essence of the higher philosophy reaches you. Maybe assuming this is the first and the last time you will ever study a scripture. Taking this assumption, out of all philosophical systems, which would be the best suited, wherein you could also have the Tattva Jnana, have the understanding of the higher scripture or what they talk about. Therefore, we have chosen yoga philosophy. Just because of the term Purusha, we see it is connected with Sankhya. Otherwise, actually, yoga is talking about the same Padartha as Vedanta. In fact, it's practical Vedanta. Therefore, a seeker of yoga, a practitioner of yoga becomes a good adhikari of Vedanta philosophy. Yes. For Sankhya, we see Sankhya as a prerequisite to Vedanta. Because the term Purusha has been used in yoga, therefore we saw that yoga was coupled up with Sankhya because Sankhya is based on Purusha and Prakriti. The Bhashya that we are studying today, do you know what is the name of this Bhashya?
Language?
Vyas Bhashya, right? Vyas Bhashya. And specifically, right, Swami Hariharananda Aranya, ashram name. Vyas Bhashya, Vyasa Bhashya. Bhashya means commentary. Vyas Bhashya. Swami Hariharananda Aranya. Hariharananda Aranya. Aranya. Aranya is
but that is the back of
the commentary that we are referring to is Swami Hariharananda Aranya.
While taking cash, then cash was super converted. Because start हमारी कंपनी कार्ड
All right, so the copy that we're referring to is Vyas Bhashya of Swami Hariharananda Aranya. Is this the highest Bhashya in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra? No. There is Adi Shankaracharya's, Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya, but it is lost. This Adi Shankaracharya's commentary, which was the most precise, the strongest commentary on the Yoga Sutra, has been lost. Interpretation of Vyas Bhashya. So Swami Hariharananda Aranya has done the interpretation of the commentary also, the Vyas Bhashya. But the best interpretation for us was Adi Shankaracharya, the greatest philosopher of India. And we have lost that scripture. Then how do we know it was there? Because when listening to the discourses of the different Shankaracharyas of Sringeri Math, they had made a point, Shabha, taken this from Shabha or Shankar Bhashya or Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya. Yes. Why I'm sharing this with you today? Because you should know what exactly we are studying. Is it the highest commentary possible available? But after that, this is the best Swami Hariharananda Aranya. This is the ashram. Through their ashram, this interpretation is the best right now in Sanskrit. All right. Coming back to Avidya, then we see that this nature of yoga philosophy It should have actually been a sister philosophy with the philosophy of Vedanta. We have studied avidya with the example Vishayatva and Aushadhatva, right? Yes, we have avidya, Vishayatva and Aushadhatva. Just refer to your notes 1 minute. Vishayatva and Aushadhatva.
Medicine? Aushad. No.
Non. So Vishayatva, avidya, which is towards that object, making it as a sense object, and Aushadhatva, restraining. Just open the term Vishayatva and Aushadhatva. We will discuss it in next sutras. Vishayatva spelling Vishayatva. Aushadhatva Aushadhatva. Aushadhatva and Vishayatva. With this understanding, we will come to the next sutra, which is sutra number 6. Drikdarshan
Darshan.
Shaktayo
Shaktayo
Rekatmate Vasmita
Rekatmate Vasmita
Drikdarshan Shaktayo Rekatmate Vasmita
Trikdarshanam Rekatmate Vasmita.
Yes. Drikdarshan Shakti. Now, out of all of these, avidya has been explained to us. Now, what are we talking about? Asmita. So, what is this Asmita? We will see. Driga, the power of seeing. Driga, power of seeing. Subjective power of seeing. Or the seer. Driga, seer. Darshana, instrumental power of seeing or sight. Simply write Drig as the seer, Darshana as the sight, Saktayo, powers, Eka, one, Atmata, nature, Eva, as if, Asmita, ego. The nature of the seer and the nature of the instrumental power of seeing is when it feels like the same thing, it is said to be Asmita. So what is this saying? Nature of the seer and nature of the instrumental power of seeing. What I am seeing, what is being seen, and who is the seer. When there is no separation between the two, we say there is Asmita. Whatever I'm seeing, I'm calling it mine. So non-separation of this both. Associating my identity with what? Everything in the world. And trying to establish an ownership over it. I will repeat again. Whatever I am seeing, I'm calling it mine, not separate from me. I absolutely refuse to take it as separate from me. This is Asmita or I-ness. The intelligence aspect of the chitta, it is the intelligence aspect of the chitta what is the chitta? Manas, ahamkara and buddhi together. And for the buddhi, it is awareness, right? And for the buddhi, it is awareness. The intelligence aspect of chitta and awareness of the buddhi, ahamkara. That means you're misidentifying buddhi. Misidentification of the buddhi. Asmita. What is buddhi? Take it Mahat principle. Buddhi or Mahat. Misidentification of the buddhi. Mahat is known as buddhi here in Yoga Sutras. The instrumental power of sight with the Purusha, the soul, the actual seeker. I will repeat this again. What are we saying? Wrong understanding or misidentification of cosmic intelligence to individual intelligence. Cosmic intelligence to individual intelligence is Asmita.
Ma'am, I've got a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, the execution, or rather the how the cosmic intelligence functions, isn't it through, it's not technically through the individual intelligence, but they are closely related in that sense. Like to interpret Mahat, one has to use individual. So here you say that misidentification. So the misidentification is that one doesn't understand that this is Mahat, and they take it that I know, and the
I
I
am
comes
the
in.
doer. I am the doer is the misidentification. I am doing is ahamkara or asmita, you call it. And it is happening is buddhi principle. Cosmic intelligence. Everything is happening through cosmic intelligence. And I am doing. That is the difference. So how does it, we can have maybe a person who misidentifies the spectacles. Maybe this person has a mental disorder and refuses to accept that the spectacles are not the eyes. Says spectacles are my eyes. What is this person, what kind of misinterpretation this person is having? Eyes can see. Through spectacles can see. So spectacles are my eyes. That's wrong. Spectacles are the instrument of what? Of greater power of seeing, that is the eyes. So in this case, again, we take the example of spectacles to be the asmita, I-ness, and the eyes, the greater power of seeing, to be the cosmic intelligence or buddhi. Allow this to penetrate. It will take some time because we are studying avidya and avidya related. All that springs up. Yes, question.
In this interpretation of spectacles, you say that the spectacles is the eyes, or this I'm seeing through the spectacles is the eyes.
I am able to see because of the spectacles. That is eye.
Or not the spectacles.
Not acknowledging that there is the power of sight that also is between me and the spectacles. Spectacles are simply the medium. So, asmita means what? My contact with the world. The moment there is the contact with the world, for that only asmita is required. For what? To transact, for the contact with the world. Asmita is required to have the contact with the world, not control over the world. Asmita is required for contact with the world, not control over the world. And what we try to do? We try to control everything.
That heaven, the senses.
Because I'm taking myself to be the body right now, so the senses.
So there would be like Smita and Vismita, like good and bad Smita also.
We studied the Sasmita last
Okay,
chapter
so-
only. We studied it. When you go through the recordings, it will come to you. Yes, just study the past recordings. What you're thinking is right, but you have not studied it yet. There is Sasmita. You will study it.
Ma'am,
Yes. Jishivansh.
one question. Can I ask?
Yes, yes, yes. You can.
Ma'am, I have a confusion in terms of the doer,
Hmm.
which comes from the I-ness, that is, I am the doer. Then does that not refute the whole concept of karma? Like, is the doing related to the outcome or doing related to the action? So when I'm doing something good or bad as a person, I am the doer, and that knowledge is that a vidya? Like I'm like that
Who is doing?
I-ness
I.
is
Who you are taking to be the I? Whom you are considering the I? So if it's the ego, then it's ignorance or asmita. So when you talk about karma, you are an instrument of certain action that needs to be happening or that needs to be done through you at certain space in certain time for a certain person. You are doing it. And if you don't do it, it will not happen. This is asmita. If you are not doing something, it will not happen. It is asmita. If you become a teacher, if you're teaching Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and you feel if you do not teach, nobody can teach, that is asmita. If you do not teach, this Prakriti has so many forms of bringing the intelligence and knowledge to the world. So, and if this feeling that if I am not doing this, it will not happen, that is asmita. I hope it is slightly clear to you.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is the ego aspect of the ignorance. You have a question? Yes.
So I see like there is a very distinct separation between the cosmic intelligence and individuals.
Not distinct separation. Part understanding of intelligence and complete understanding of intelligence. Part understanding, limited understanding is ahamkara asmita. Complete understanding is mahat or buddhi. So journey of yoga is from part understanding the intelligence to complete understanding of intelligence.
So there's no separation. In fact, there's limit.
Limit. And who limits? We limit. By what? At the age of 4 or 5, we have a name, certain tag, title, experience with the society and so on.
Sorry, one last question.
You
So
can ask.
the Mahat is a cosmic intelligence.
Mahat. Yes.
And above that is the
Yes.
and what we call
Mahat is the cosmic intelligence which enables you the Vivek Khyati, the separation between Jada and Chetan, the gross and subtle. Right now, you take yourself to be the body. When you are in Mahat, what will happen? Like you have every experience of the body and like you physically feel somebody coming in contact with the body or establishing a touch, you will feel that at the level of mind. Now you're not able to see or feel every thought reaching the mind, working itself out. Right now, where is the awareness? Our awareness is at the level of the body. What happens then? The mind becomes you or the chitta becomes you. Like you have the sensation of physically somebody touching the skin and you have awareness, A thought that reaches the chitta brings you awareness, not the body. So awareness moves from jada to chetan, from gross to subtle. So I am not the body, it slowly goes to I am the mind. And from the I am the mind, it goes to simply I am. State of samadhi. What is state of samadhi? Mind and you, like you feel a physical touch. Similarly, you have the thought, you experience the thought reaching the mind as though it has touched you. So you are in equanimity with the body and mind. You experience everything at what level? At the chitta level. If there is a heavy load on the hand, you will feel heavy. Similarly, the chitta will start feeling heavy. So you will start feeling heaviness at the level of chitta also now, if you are carrying too many objects. This is the practice of yoga. This is the state of samadhi where, like I have physical awareness of every sensation at the gross level, I have subtle awareness of every thought at the level of the mind. So then I take myself to be what? My thoughts, my mind. This is very important to know because we are studying avidya again. Few lectures are going to need us to revisit them again. So we will have to be prepared for that. We may not understand it in one time. So we will try to revisit it again one more time and see if it penetrates within us. So simply from the body level, I take the awareness to the chitta. So I am not aware of the body in state of samadhi. What I am aware of? Chitta. So like somebody comes in physical proximity with me, I am able to see them. Similarly with closed eyes, anybody in proximity, I am able to observe that with closed eyes, beyond the senses, at the energy level, at the subtle level. Write this down because this explanation of avidya and chitta is rare to find. Whenever you teach your students in the future, whenever that would be, do not miss this very way of making them understand the practice of yoga. All right, so we move ahead from here. We see ego is the specific aspect of ignorance. Nothing then. This I amness is what? Ignorance. Ignorance. Therefore, avidya, we say is bhavatmak. Bhavatmak. And Asmita is born from avidya only. Bhavatmak, in the heart. Whatever you feel, where is all of this going to happen? At the level of bhava.
That is how.
Chitta. In English, if I say emotions, state of emotional intelligence. Chitta has your emotional and material, both intelligence. So for some seekers, what happens? We see when they reach this state of Mahat or cosmic intelligence, they sometimes feel this is the Atman or the self. They fail to understand that it is not the intelligence that is the self, but the power that enables the intelligence to shine forth is the self. It is not the intelligence which is the self, cosmic intelligence. It is the power that helps this intelligence shine forth. That is the self. That energy, that which means it's more powerful than the cosmic intelligence, is it not? Now let's simplify all that we have studied further. Let's go at one more attempt. Identifying oneself with one's own family. Physically, when you are not suffering at any level, anything happens to this inner circle, you feel you are suffering it too at all levels. But is it happening with you? No. Then why is it happening? Because the sense object is strong. And why this sense object is strong? I am, they belong to me. I am is there, therefore they belong to me. If I am is not there, then only as I am, they are also there. So whatever happens in the family, then if the people of the close circle are suffering and I amness is not there, I simply observe the suffering. Without being in suffering, I help them. I feel or express love towards them, not because they are mine, because they are lovable. I hope you're able to understand the difference between doing with Asmita and not doing something.
But we would only feel those things because they are our family. So automatically that ego comes because you cannot feel the same thing with someone else's parents or family. So that I-ness is by default there.
That
Though
is
you
what,
don't express it.
that is what we have to stop the identification with a smaller group. So
That's
what for a
the
yogi,
Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
yeah, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, why are you learning the Gita? We studied Vasudeva Kutumbakam very correctly there. Where
The same emotion
compassion,
for everyone.
yes, if there is love, I have love for all beings. I don't have, this is mine, therefore I have love for them. I have compassion, there is compassion for every being outside. This is Vasudeva. You answered your own. Yes. Yes.
Is cosmic intelligence individual or same for everyone?
Cosmic intelligence is something that unites us. Cosmic intelligence is the seed in all of us. Individual intelligence may vary, but cosmic intelligence is the same.
So that is when we feel unification of with everyone.
That's why we feel unified with everyone. One with everyone.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I just have to seek more clarity on this, which is what you said, the power that helps the cosmic intelligence is the self. Could you expand on that a little bit more, please?
Sorry, I couldn't read you correctly.
Sorry, you said the power that helps the cosmic intelligence is the self.
Yes.
I just so that I get it, because I can see these two tangents in my vision. So I just wanted to get more clarity. Anything that you can add to it, please?
You recall we studied Chit Shakti for the advanced seeker in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
previous chapter. Chit and Chit Shakti. One that enables. So having this awareness of cosmic intelligence, that who is experiencing this cosmic intelligence?
I see.
What is
Okay.
that energy? That is
Right.
Purusha. Otherwise, with cosmic intelligence, again, what will happen? One will feel that is liberation, knowing. But dropping that also is Kaivalya.
Yes, because what I was looking at it as a perspective of not the Chit Shakti, but the macro view, which is this exists as a whole amongst all of us, amongst all of the things. What's powering that is the self, and that just was from like a very different dimension looking at it to then what you've just said, which is as a seer, as an interpreter, I do power that vision and whatever is coming through. But then immediately my question is that, well, who's powering this pervasive cosmic intelligence? And that's basically where I stopped.
That is Aham Brahmasmi. That's where you reach in Vedanta. One step ahead and you reach Vedanta, where you say, I am the creator of my own world. Everything. So there is no second. That is the moment where you realize there is no second. Everybody you meet is you. Everybody you meet is you only. This realization is the understanding of Purusha in its own nature. And therefore, it's very natural for you to be kind and compassionate and everything, because there is no second. There is no being. There is no second at all. There is just one. This oneness is experienced. Now, how are we experiencing the world? Prithak. In Sanskrit, we say it's separate, separate, separate. Unit, unit, unit. Different, different, different. Instead of division, how do we see it? Undivided as one. So this shift from seeing everything as separate of me, as second of me, as outside of me, to seeing the whole picture as one. Then there is, I am the one who brings Pralaya. I am the Shiva. You recall, we studied once the story when Bhagwan Shiva and Mata Parvati were on their way. They were walking and they turned the yogi into camels. So, since the yogi did not acknowledge the existence of, Shiva walking with Parvati, Mata Parvati got annoyed. And what did she do? Change Sanat Kumar into a camel as a punishment. And they started walking ahead. She said, how can somebody not acknowledge my husband passing by? And therefore turned the yogis, group of yogis, into camels. Now when they went to Kailasha on their way back, Bhagwan reminds her, Lord Shiva reminds her, says, do you remember who they are? And she says, yes, it's Sanat Kumar, I know very much. So he says, don't you want to ask them how they are doing now that you've turned all of them into camel? So she asks, how do you feel right now in the camel birth? Have you learnt your lesson? Sanat Kumar replies, oh, I'm so thankful that you turned me into a camel. I don't have to take bath. I don't have to worry about doing my sandhya or going to the Ganges and taking a dip. I can simply graze when required and just be here, still enjoying the self. So, in that moment, Mata Parvati realizes that Sanat Kumar is the one who has experienced being the Shiva, is even one. There is no Shiva that is different. Has experienced the Shiva, has experienced the Vishnu, that oneness with the greatest cosmic force. And Lord Shiva looks at her and smiles. He says, liberated one. You make a camel, or you make a squirrel, or you make a human. It does not matter. In Satchitananda, in complete pure bliss, in any state. This is what happens when there is complete removal of avidya. There is no second. Kisse vyavahar karoge? With whom you will transact at karmic level? There is no second at all. Everything is you. You are meeting yourself in so many people in different ways. We will pause here for today and continue tomorrow. Even if I wish to, I shall not share anything further. We read onto or connect with what we have studied today and continue tomorrow. Bring your palms together at the heart center. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ईश्वर माफ करना, परेशानी करती वेदांत। हरि ओम। नमस्ते। If you do not understand, it is okay. Yes, it's absolutely.
Thank you. Bye.
Ma'am.